Alright, let's make a video real quick. So, there was some drama last night. Um, Two main issues of drama, and I'm really long winded, so I'm not going to go into details. Otherwise, it's going to be like a 2 hour long video. Um, I had issues at Walmart with getting an empty. I spent like an hour, hour and a half getting an empty. I ended up flagging down a yard dog, and he told me that they had started putting trailers in on a patch of grass at the back of the distribution center, and he told me how to get there, and I found an empty there. Um, so I wasted a lot of time there, and I had a lot of issues getting a load. It took forever to get a load. Um, it took me until 12:40 today to get a load. Um, I was asking for a load starting at around like noon yesterday, and so that was one issue of drama, was getting a load. The other issue was maintenance. The trailer that I ended up finding had, oh my god, this dumbass is gonna drop his fucking trailer. What a jackass. He's like, this Stevens driver is not parked in a parking spot. That's not a parking spot. Actually, the dumbass next to me is not in a parking spot either. They're in like their creative spots. I'm in the end spot. I'm in the last spot at the end, which is not a good place to be, because people come flying through here going like 50 miles an hour, whipping through these spots. And the end trucks are the ones that typically get clipped by the trailers, and you'll get your front end ripped off. But there are legitimate parking spots, like real parking spots, like right there in between Little Caesars and that Schneider truck. That is a parking spot. And these dumbasses are just like, and you're not supposed to drop your fucking trailer at these places. Like, if you get a reserved spot, maybe. Oh my god. It is getting fucky in here. But, so the issue number one was getting a load. Issue number two was the maintenance. The trailer that I picked up had a mud flap missing, and it had a marker light out. So I drove it to a Love's, the same one that I stayed the night at previously, and what a complete fucking jackass. Just dropping his trailer basically in the middle of the fucking road and driving off. There's signs everywhere that you're not supposed to drop trailers. That is a big no-no at these truck stops. But so the maintenance issue was the mud flap and then the marker light, and I tried to get my headlight assemblies replaced as well. I think there's a spot right there. No, there's a trailer in between them. Is this place already getting... I guess I got lucky that I got here while there was still some spots available. I think there's a spot available right over there in between Little Caesars and Schneider. And no, that's not a spot, actually. I can see the yellow line. That's like a marked off area. Probably there's something there. Probably a median or something. But everybody's doing their creative parking already. These people who park at the end like this, like the dumbass next to me, they make it very difficult for the people that are parking in the legitimate spots down there in the end. It reduces the amount of space you have to get in and out. But there's just some dumb fucking people in trucking. I mean, there's just dumb people everywhere. But issue number one. So let's stick with issue number two for a second. The maintenance issue. I called Roadside and told them that I was at the Love's. Told them everything I wanted to get fixed, including the headlight assemblies. I wanted to replace them. I told them why, because they're not properly sealed, and condensation and residue is getting behind the on the inside and reducing the amount of light coming out. So Is Stevens coming back already? No, that's a different Stevens person. Okay, so I don't feel so bad about Stevens now. It looks like they were doing a trailer swap here. I thought he was like just dropping his damn trailer and taking off. Okay, so no longer think Stevens is a complete dumbass. That is a decent spot to just do a trailer swap. So looks like that's all they were doing. They were relaying a load. So no biggie. They're not dumbasses anymore. When it came, I sat around for 2 hours. I got there at 8 a.m. The mechanic didn't show up till 8 a.m. I was one of the first to get in there. And I sat there for 2 hours. And they were just trying to get approval to do the work. Like, they went out there and did an estimate on what it would cost. And they came out and tried to get approval from USA Truck. Well, USA Truck approved the marker light and the mud flap, and they denied the headlight assemblies. Apparently some manager got involved, because I called in after they denied it, and I was like, what the hell? And the guy told me that his manager denied it, and he couldn't override his manager. And I was like, well, what's going on? Like, I already called in and got approval for this before any of this. Why? I just sat around for 2 hours. And he's like, my manager did it. I don't know why. And it's just like, he didn't really know what to tell me. Well, they're just opened up a legitimate spot right there. KB is taking off. And this guy right here is probably just blowing a load in his pants about, man, he just got a parking spot. But I was flabbergasted. The guy told me that I had to go to a terminal to get it fixed. I was like, well, okay. So I'm guessing it's an issue with money. The shop told me that it was $1,800 parts, just in parts, on the headlight assembly. So it was going to be real expensive to replace the headlight assemblies. So that I'm guessing it was a money issue. Well, then later on in the day, like way later in the day, like 3 o'clock in the afternoon, while I was on my way to Tulsa, somebody from the shop called me, and this guy's really animated. Maybe he knows he's like being recorded. People act weird when they know they're being recorded. But this guy's doing a pretty damn good job of getting. Oh, he's gonna hit that Freightliner. He needs to cut it a lot harder. He's got his tandems way forward, and he has a lot of trailer swing. That trailer movement at the end gets really exaggerated when your tandems are really far forward. You have to be very, very aware of your trailer, the back of your trailer, when your tandems are that far forward and you're backing, or when you're driving forward. Like that thing will swing. Well, he's got it now. He's got it good. He's good. But what was I gonna say? What was I saying? So the roadside called me at like 3 o'clock in the afternoon when I was on my way to Tulsa, and they were like, "Hey, I was just checking in to see what's going on. Did the shop repair all of the issues that you put the truck in the shop for?" And I said, "No." I said, "They repaired all the stuff with the trailer, but you guys denied their request for the tractor." And he said, "What do you mean?" I said, "Well," I explained to him that they fixed the mud flap and they fixed the marker light. And he said the marker light's actually working, because they said that the marker light was fine, it was just an electrical issue. And I said, "Well, it's working. I don't know what they did, but it's working now." I said, one thing that I did notice on the bill is that they charged us for the mud flap, and they did not. I had a mud flap that they used. We didn't buy a mud flap from them. I said, when I was assigned this tractor, it had 2 spare mud flaps in it, and I gave them one of those mud flaps, and that's what they put on the trailer. And he said that he would make note of that and get that corrected on the bill. And I said, aside from that, the headlights on the tractor did not get fixed. And I explained to him, that what happened. And I said, I'm guessing that it was just too damn expensive to get fixed on the road. And I told him that I'd already tried to get them fixed at West Memphis at our terminal. And it was going to take them 1 to 2 days to get the parts. And I had a load I had to pick up in 2 hours, so I wasn't able to get it fixed at the terminal. So I was trying to get it fixed out here on the road. And he said that he didn't think it was a money issue. He said that whenever they submitted the work order to them, that they said the lights were all working fine, and I just basically wanted the headlights replaced. They didn't put in a reason why I wanted the headlights replaced when Love's put in the work order. And so somebody in Roadside asked their manager about it or something, or somehow the manager got involved, and the manager said, no, we're not replacing the headlight assemblies if the lights work. And I explained to them, to the guy who called me, the reason why I wanted them replaced. And he apologized that the work order got canceled. He said that if the manager would have known the reason why I wanted them replaced, then he didn't think it was a money issue. He thinks that the work order would have gone through and they would have had it replaced. He thinks that it was just a miscommunication, that I just wanted the headlights replaced or something. I don't fucking know. Maybe they just think I'm stupid or something. I just put in dumb requests. But anyway, I told him, I was like, yeah, I guess I'm just going to have to ride around with this safety issue for another week until my driver manager can get me to a terminal. I've told her what happened and told her I need to be routed to a terminal. And she's trying to get me to a terminal. So that was issue number 2. We'll go back to issue number 1, freight. I couldn't get a load last night. Couldn't get one yesterday. Couldn't get one this morning. I messaged them 4 or 5 times, giving them my PTA, when I was going to be available, and trying to get a load. And I messaged my driver manager. I called my driver manager. I finally got a load at 12:40. I was in Harrisonville. I'll use major cities instead of, Harrisonville's about 40 miles south of Kansas City. And then I got a load going and picking up in Jinx, Oklahoma, which is in Tulsa. And then I'm going to somewhere in Idaho, a major city in Idaho. I forget what it is. I want to say Des Moines. So I deadheaded 224 paid miles. I think it was actually close to 240 mile deadhead to come down to Tulsa to pick up a preloaded trailer at Kimberly Clark. I just did a drop and hook there, and they got me in and out pretty quick. It was a really I like dealing with them. They were really easy to work with, and the way that they had their trailers, they had them organized, and it wasn't spread out all over the place. It was just one parking lot for trailers. It wasn't 10 fucking lots all over the place. The lots were really well organized. I like that. They had all the USA Truck trailers in one section. But so I went there, picked that up, and I ran out of hours while I was there, so I had to use personal conveyance to get to this truck stop, this Flying J. I would have preferred to stay the night at a Love's, and I would have preferred to get further out of Tulsa, but I ran out of hours, and there's only so far you can go. This is the closest truck stop I could find to Kimberly Clark, and it was 22 miles away. Our personal conveyance at USA Truck is limited to 46 miles, and I don't think I could have made it to another truck stop, because this truck stop is in the middle of Tulsa. In the middle of Tulsa. It's still in Tulsa. The Love's, the closest Love's from here was, I don't know how many miles outside of town, but it was beyond my 46 mile range. And when you use personal conveyance to get to a safe place to park, you can't just go to whatever in the hell place you want to go. You have to go to the nearest safe place, and this is about the nearest safe place I could find. because I drove on city streets pretty much all the way to get here. Um, there weren't any, like, aside from an on ramp or an off ramp on 169 or 64, the highways I was on, that there wasn't any other place to park. This was the nearest truck stop or rest area I could find. But um, man, this guy that he swapped trailers with seems like he's probably a dick. That guy that dropped the trailer is being really nice about it, though. Oh no, he's stealing his load locks. Huh. I don't know what's going on. But yeah, that was the two major issues. As far as the freight goes, it's kind of scary because this is the first time I've ever waited on a load. They don't like to pre-plan me loads until I'm 100% sure when I'm going to be empty and ready to roll. They usually wait until I've made my delivery to give me a new load, and I wait at most like 30 minutes to get a load. This is the first time I've waited like 6, 7, 8, 10 hours to get a load. And I think I waited, I left Walmart at about 6 a.m. and I got the load at about 12:40. So what, 6 hours and 40 minutes that I waited for a load from the time I made my delivery. I was actually waited on that load for a very long time because I've been trying to get a load like from the day prior, like from, noon the previous day I'd been trying to get a load. But we'll just do it for my delivery time, and it's only, it's 6 hours and 40 minutes. That's the longest I've ever waited for a load. About 15-20 minutes after I got that load, my driver manager Haley sent out a message fleet wide, and now that I'm not driving, I can actually give you the exact message. Good afternoon, fleet. Let me see if there's no personal information on here. We'll do this. Good afternoon, fleet. I am working really hard on trying to get loads for you all. Please be patient as we are trying to book freight. Some areas are a little low in freight right now, so we as a company are doing our best to get what we can. Thank y'all. So, some areas we're having difficulty getting freight in. So, I think that all the hoarding that caused a boom in certain sectors, I think those sectors are finally getting caught up with that, and freight is starting to slow down in those sectors that were booming. This guy just dropped his trailer. The guy next to me. Apparently dropping trailers is a big thing here in this yard. I think this might be the only truck stop in the city limits. That might be why it is so packed. That's the reason I really like to get truck stops that are kind of out in the middle of no damn where. Especially when there's, places near them that are like places people would probably prefer to stop at. I like to go to truck stops that aren't really busy because, like, this place, this is where you get in, somebody is going to take your bumper off because there's going to be a lot of people moving in and out of here. And people are going to get, like, since it's so crowded, people are going to get very creative on parking. Like, there's already those two, the Stevens truck and that white truck next to it. Those are illegally parked right now. There's already a lot of creative parking going on right now. People will get, like, when they're out of hours and this is the place they chose to stop at, they're going to get really squirrely. And they're going to get really aggressive about getting into spots, and people will fight over spots and shit. So I don't like being in truck stops like this one, but I don't have any other option. I'm out of hours. I can't go. I would prefer to have driven further. So Yeah, freight appears to be slowing down now. Like, a bunch of sectors of the trucking industry, like car haulers and flatbedders, had been getting slowed down. They've already seen slowdowns in freight. They were already having conversations about moving over to dry van or reefer to keep running. So now dry van is slowing down. I don't know if it's so much slowing down or those flatbedders and those car haulers and everybody else where business has dried up. Maybe they're saturating the dry van market, and maybe that's the reason people are having difficulty getting loads. I talked when I was waiting on the shop. I was in the waiting room at this particular Love's. They would not let us be in the vehicle. They made us sit in a waiting room. So I spent that 2.5 hours I was there sitting in a waiting room, and I talked with two different drivers that were there. One of them was a company driver for a small fleet where it was just like he dealt directly with the owner of the company, and he said that he hadn't noticed a slowdown in freight. Another one was a Landstar driver. He said he hadn't noticed a slowdown in freight, and he had not noticed a change in rates. So maybe this is the beginning of the downturn in trucking, because trucking services the entire economy, and most of the economy is shut down right now. So the boom that we experienced in one little segment of trucking probably helped with the decline, but once that stabilizes and goes back to normal, I think a lot of trucking companies could be going out of business if this lasts very long. Trucking is not a sector of the economy that is going to be like doing well in an economic downturn, because we move everything. So if like 80% of the economy shuts down, 80% of trucking is going to shut down. We'll see how it pans out, but we're getting the first warning signs that getting miles here at USA Truck may start to become an issue. But that's about it for this video. I'm gonna my trash bag's almost full. I'm gonna have to go dump that thing. That's actually my second trash bag. I have a trash bag that's already full. Oh, here's my bills. I better not put those on the screen. I still have some leftover chicken and potato salad and barbecue beans that I bought at the grocery store Saturday when I was at home. So I'm going to throw some of them in the microwave and watch some DirecTV and get some sleep. It's going to be a pretty casual drive to Des Moines. I don't do anything casual. Like, as soon as my 10 is up, I'm going to be rolling, and I'm going to, take off. I think I've only got 500 miles. I've already done 224 paid miles on the deadhead of this trip. I think it's 800 total miles. So I've got somewhere around 550 miles left on the trip. Which I can easily knock all of that out tomorrow in like 8-ish hours, somewhere around 7 times 8 is 56. 56 divided by, let's say 6. 8. It'll be right at 9 hours, just shy of 9 hours. But I'm probably not going to be able to maintain a 60 mile per hour average. So we'll say 9 hours. It'll take me about 9 hours to do that. And I hope it's all interstates. I have to make a choice on which route to take to Kansas City. North of Kansas City, I'm definitely taking I-35. But to get to Kansas City, I can either take Highway 169 or I can take 44 and then 49. 44 is a toll road, which I don't give a shit. The company pays tolls, and they dick me out of money so much already that I'm not going to try and save them a penny. I'm going to pick whichever one's going to be the best for me. I don't think the mileage is that big of a difference, but it is less miles to take 169. So 169 might be faster. I'm going to have to check and see what kind of highway it is. If it's a divided highway and I don't have to go through too many towns with stoplights, then I'll probably take 169. But if it's like a 2-lane road at any point, then fuck that. I'll drive 20 extra miles so I can stay on interstates. But if it's a divided 4-lane highway all the way up to Kansas City, then I'll probably take 169. That's something I'll have to research tonight. But all right, I'm gonna take my time off. Have fun. Thanks for watching, and I hope you survive the virus and all that good stuff.